Oh my gosh. Hi. I have missed you guys so much. I have not filmed or uploaded in a very long time, so my apologies for that. But we are here today with a very exciting video. We are here for my 2024 book wrapped video, the books I read, all of that. And I think I'm going to put this into 3 parts. So part 1 is going to be my reading stats recap. Part 2 is going to be what I read this year, and part 3 is going to be which ones I recommend the most and my favorites and all of that. Yeah, we're just going to get right into it. I went through my Goodreads. Here's my Goodreads if you want to add me. We can be friends, send recommendations and all that. So, buckle up, we have a fun video. I have my coffee and this cute quilt that my grandma made me that I'm obsessed with. Quick recap, last year I read 20 books. I did not do a what I read this year video. I filmed it and I just never edited and uploaded it. So that was kind of a bummer. So I went in this year wanting to read 30 books, so 10 more than I read last year. And I unfortunately did not hit that. However, I read 15, so I read half of what I wanted to read. And that's still a lot of books. I have come to realize, especially seeing them all stacked, I'm that's a lot of books, Lauren. You did fine. So I read 15 books this year. I did only read 2 genres. Of the 15, 11 of them were mystery and thriller. Clearly that's my favorite genre. And 4 of them were romance. So, she's a romance mystery thriller girly. I had no DNFs this year, which I was surprised by, actually. I didn't realize that I had none. I had 1 or 2 last year. I had none this year, which I'm pretty proud of. Here are my stat rankings. 2 of the books I read were 6 out of 5. They're obviously on my what I recommend list that you'll see in a little bit. And I'll also tell you what I ranked them individually. 3 of them were 5 out of 5. 4 of them were 4 out of 5. 4 of them were 3 out of 5. And 2 of them were 2 out of 5 stars. So overall, I had a pretty good year with reading, where a lot of them were pretty good. So that was quite impressive. I'm pretty happy with them. So the first book I read this year was They're Watching You by Chelsea Ichaso. I don't know how to say that. I'm so sorry. And this book follows Marin, whose best friend Polly St. James and also her roommate, I believe, went missing at their academy, and while going through Polly's belongings, Marin finds a letter inviting Polly to a Game Master Society, and Marin makes it her mission to figure out what happened to Polly and knows that that society is going to know something about it. So while the society is marketed as Ivy League connections and all that kind of stuff, but Marin is more drawn to it because every game she wins, she learns a clue as to what happened to Polly, so she can figure out what happened. And this is all on the back of the book, by the way. This is a spoiler-free video, as it says in the title, so don't worry. And it says, they see, they know, they control, and they kill. So this book is so fast-paced. It's so entertaining. I think about it so often, actually. It's crazy. And I started this year with such a bang. The next book I read is the first in a trilogy, which I feel like a lot of you probably read this, is The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. This was my first Freida McFadden book that I read, and there's a couple more besides the trilogy, because, spoiler, I like her writing style. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars, so it was pretty high up there. I started the year off with 2 great books. This book is about a girl named Millie who is fresh out of prison, I believe. And she is a cleaner, and she becomes the house cleaner and nanny kind of for the Winchesters. And the wife, Nina, very much makes a mess and makes Millie clean it up, and the daughter's insane. And then she realizes that the attic door only locks from the outside, and it's very suspicious. And things are just kind of happening, and it's a very interesting book, and the plot twist was pretty good. I liked it. I didn't see it coming, at all, really. So, the next book that I read this year was The Summer She Went Missing, also by Chelsea Ichaso. This book is about a girl named Paige who goes to this, like, lakeside, I believe, town with her best friend's family. And I forgot to say, but I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars, which is a pretty average rating for me. It wasn't exceptional, but it wasn't bad. It's about her figuring out what happened to her best friend Audrey and all of the twists and turns of that. I don't remember too much about this book, if I'm being honest, so it makes sense that I gave it 3 stars. But I did enjoy. The next book that I read is The Cousins by Karen M. McManus. And this follows Millie, Aubrey, and Jonah, who are cousins. They don't know much about their family. They've never met their grandma, and their parents don't talk to their grandma either, or since before the cousins were born. And then they receive a letter from their grandma inviting them to work on her island for the summer, like at her camp, like a resort type thing. And the parents are kind of like, weird, we don't talk to her. But they go. The cousins are kind of just discovering what happened to their family and where things were going with that. And all of that. And I gave this book 2 stars. It was not my favorite of her books. I don't remember that much of it either, which isn't good. But the next book that I read is by my favorite author, and I was so excited when it came out that I have it in hardback because I bought it literally the day it came out, I think. And that is The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars, and I love this book. It felt a little slow moving at first, but it also was just taking me a while to get into it, so I'm not sure which of those it was more. But I love this book. So this book is about Belle, and her mom is Rachel Price, and she's kind of living in the shadow of her mom disappearing with her, and blah, 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 blah. And then her mom comes back, and it's about what happened. There's betrayal, there's everything, and the plot twist in this book, you guys, was insane. Holly Jackson knows how to write a plot twist, and I'm obsessed with her writing. She wrote A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which is my favorite series. And I loved this book. I wish I could read it again for the first time because it was impeccable. Hence why I was 5 out of 5. Okay, the next book I read is the second in the Housemaid series, and that is The Housemaid's Secret. And I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. It follows Millie, who is now cleaning a new home with a new family. This one takes place and she's cleaning a penthouse instead of like a house. It's very interesting. I really liked it. So in this book, Millie has never met the wife that lives in the penthouse, but she can hear her crying from her bedroom. There's blood around the neck of the white nightgowns that Millie cleans, and she just kind of gets encapsulated in what happened and making not a story, but like making sense of it all. And I really enjoyed it. The next book that I read had my jaw on the literal ground at the plot twist, and that is The Inmate by Frida McFadden. Told you there was more of her coming. Well, I read 2 back to back, and I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars as well. This book is about Brooke, who is a nurse practitioner and works in a maximum security prison. And then it turns out that her high school sweetheart, Shane Nelson, is in this maximum security prison. And he is serving a life sentence for unaliving. I think I could say that on YouTube, but I'm not sure. And that her testimony is ultimately the reason he went to prison. So that's kind of awkward, and everything is not as it seems in this book, and it had me gagged the whole time. I thought I knew the plot twist that was coming, I kind of knew the plot twist that was coming, but my guess was here and the actual was here. So the next book that I read is my other 6 out of 5 stars, and that is The Only One Left by Riley Sager. Riley Sager and Holly Jackson are both my favorite authors. Riley Sager writes very, mystery, thriller, horror, kind of confusing. Some of them, The House Across the Lake is mind-blowing. But this book is about a girl who was the only one left of her family and that she unalived her whole family. Her name's Lenora. And there's like a nursery rhyme kind of thing that goes along with it, like as if people had it. But this book is crazy. I absolutely loved it. It was had me guessing the entire time what was going to happen. And then the plot twist, I was like, no way. I love this book. I wish I could read it again for the first time. Riley Sager's writing is so easy to read, and it's also, his world building is incredible. Like the next book that I read was my introduction to hockey romance, which I then read more of. So I started reading the Off Campus series by Elle Kennedy, and this is The Deal. This is the first book in it, and it is like a study romance book. So Hannah is tutoring Garrett, who is a hockey player, at their college. And it's just a nice little love story. It is a little spicy, so if you're not into that, don't read this series at all. But I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars, actually. I really enjoyed it. It's pretty solid. It was pretty cute watching them fall in love. And I get the hockey romance trope now. There's something so cute about a buff hockey player and like protecting you. I get it. I didn't think I would get it, but I get it now. So following that book up, I read the second one in the series, The Mistake. And this one follows, so all the guys in this book are the same friend group, like same team and friend group, they all live together. And then the girls, some of them are, like the girl in the third one that I read, spoiler, is the roommate of the first girl from the first book. So I really like that. But this one is about John, Logan, and Grace. Grace is a freshman. And this one starts because Logan is into Hannah in the first book, and he's trying to get over her, and he meets Grace, and then, it's a romance, so you kind of get what I'm picking down. You're kind of picking up what I'm putting down. But I really enjoyed this book. The next book I read is the third book in the Housemaid is Watching series, and I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. This one definitely wasn't as good as the first 2 in the series, but it wasn't bad by any means. This is about, it's hard to talk about this one and not spoil the rest of it, but yeah, that's all I'm gonna say actually, because I can't really put more into it, but their neighbors are sus. And their street is sketchy, and they learn about it. And that's all I'm gonna say, because, yep. The next book that I read is, drumroll, the third book in the hockey romance series, The Score. These are all by Elle Kennedy, by the way. And I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. It also was not my favorite, but it was not bad by any means. This one is about Allie and Dean, one of the guys in the friend group. She is Hannah's roommate. She goes to stay at Garrett's place from the first book and then meets Dean. And things conspire. Conspired? Is that a word? And things happen. I really liked this one. Not my favorite, but it was definitely good. So, I still need to read the rest of the series. I haven't yet. So, after that one, I don't know. I just didn't want to buy a new one. The next book that I read is Never Lie by Frida McFadden, and I gave this book 2 out of 5 stars. I was pretty underwhelmed with this one, but my friend Seneca read it and she loved it. So, I don't know. I might just not have been in the right headspace to read it. But what I thought the plot twist was going to be, I don't know. I just wasn't wowed by this one like I was the other ones, but it wasn't, bad. Obviously, I finished it. So that was that one. Now, the second to last book that I read this year was a bang. It was 4 out of 5 stars, solely because I think the ending could have been a little bit different and it would have made it even more shocking, but it also could have been a little like the end of Paper Towns. It's like a 4.5, 4.75, but on Goodreads you can't do that, so I just put 4. And that is That's Not My Name by Megan Lally. And this book is about a teen who wakes up on the side of the road doesn't know her name, doesn't know where she is, doesn't know how she got there, and a man saying he is her father and her name is Mary comes to pick her up, and that's one. It's an alternating perspective. That's one perspective. The other perspective is Lola, who stormed off into the night, and her boyfriend Drew was with her, and now she is missing, and he is looking for her. So it alternates between the two storylines, and it was very interesting. I flew through this book in the matter of a couple days because it captivated my attention so much, and it was so good. And I can't remember if I said, but I gave it, yeah, I did. So that was that. Finally, the last book that I read this year is Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey, a little spicy Christmas book to end of the year. And I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. It got weird about 3/4 of the way through, and I almost put it down. I was so close to the end, I had to just finish. This book is about Stella, and she is standing outside of a window display at a department store in New York, and a guy asks her what her thoughts are on it, and she tells him that she hates it. And she doesn't know that he is actually the owner of the department store, and he hires her to fix the window displays, or like temporarily does. So that's that. It is spicy, so be warned. I think most Tessa Bailey books are. I read Wreck the Halls last year, and that was... But, yeah, that's that. It's cute. It was fine to end the year on. So, those are all the books that I read this year, all 15 of them. And now, for my top 3, and since it was the year of the Olympics, I thought we would do it in medal style, so gold, silver, bronze. So, in 3rd place with the bronze medal is going to be The Inmate by Frida McFadden. I think you could probably tell that you probably know what are the top 3, just based on what I said about them. But that book was great. I remember finishing it at my grandma's house and looking up, like, at my mom, because I was shocked. And the silver medal, 2nd place, is going to go to They're Watching You by Chelsea Ichaso. I don't know how to say it. Should have looked it up before I filmed this, but I'm not doing it now. Well, I will do it after to know in the future, but I'm not going to refilm this. So, yeah, that book was great to start the year off with that book. In 1st place, taking home the gold medal, is, drumroll, The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I love Riley Sager. I think I read all of his books, except for The Only One Left, and his new one that came out this last year. I think I read them all last year, because I love them so much. There was only one that I didn't like as much, and even that it was good. So, like, I would recommend any of his books, and Holly Jackson's too. Anyway, that is that. My recommendations would be, any of the ones that are 5 stars, but I would say my top ones are probably That's Not My Name, low-key the Hockey Romance series, if you're looking for something like that. Obviously, The Only One Left. Obviously, The Inmate. The Housemaid series was great if you're looking for a series, and obviously They're Watching You. These would probably be my top 4 recommendations. Top 5 with this one. So, yeah, that is going to be it for this week's video. I am going to film a 2025, that's crazy, reset. And I'm thinking about doing, like, quarterly updates about what I'm reading, cleaning, finances, because I'm going to do a low by year, which I'm also thinking about doing a video on. And I literally spent money today. The Love Her Life from Paris vinyls came out on Taylor Swift's website, and I've been wanting them for so long, and I know that I shouldn't have bought them, but I've been wanting them for so long, like I just said, so I did, and I kind of regret it, but whatever. I'm so excited about it. So, yeah, that is going to be it for this week's video. Thank you guys so much for staying till the end. If you did stay till the end, comment down below your favorite genre of book, or just your favorite book in general. And yeah, that's going to be it for this week's video. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next Saturday. Bye!